Johnathan Gerlach. I really want to cover this story before it blows up too much on the internet, so I just want to start off by saying, hey, thanks for coming to my channel. I'm Jaden Belling, better known as JJ Lil Skip, because I used to rap, so I wanted to cover this story. I thought it was really interesting. So it's going to be all about Johnathan Gerlach. Um, Johnathan Gerlach, 34 now, grew up in central Pennsylvania with a background that many friends found surprisingly normal. Homeschooling, he was homeschooled. Friends from his past were often surprised to learn that he had been homeschooled, as he was considered a social butterfly who spoke to people with ease. He had musical interests as a young man. He was deeply immersed in the local metalcore scene. He played guitar and was the lyricist, vocalist for a band called Road to Milestone. Community perception. Those who knew him during his time described him as an empathetic guy and a good dude, who would often chop it up with friends over drinks after shows. The secret obsession. By 2018, Gerlach began to drift away from his old social circles. He eventually moved into a home on Washington Avenue in Eptrata. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Ephrata, where neighbors saw him as a good worker and a polite man who walked his dogs with a female companion. However, beneath this veneer of normalcy, he had developed a macabre obsession with human remains. He curated an Instagram page titled Ledger of the Dead, where he presented himself a curator of specimens specializing in provenance and forensic documentation of human and animal remains. He also became a known figure in online oddities groups where he allegedly sold human bones and skulls. January 2026, so this year, he got caught doing all of this. Gerlach's double life collapsed on January 6, 2026, when detectives caught him at the Mount Moriah Cemetery and Arboretum in Yedden. Investigators observed him leaving the cemetery with a crowbar and a burlap bag containing mummified remains of 2 infants and 3 human skulls. The discovery of subsequent search of his home and a storage unit revealed a horror movie come to life. Authorities found over 100 sets of human remains, including skulls, mummified appendages, and 2 decomposing torsos, one of which was found by his own brother and sister-in-law. As of late January 2026, Gerlach faces 574 criminal accounts, including abuse of a corpse, a burial site desecration. He is currently held at the George W. Hill Correctional Facility on a $1 million bond. Johnathan from Ephrata, Pennsylvania, was once known to his friends as a normal guy and a good dude. Within the local music scene, he was a metalhead who played in a metalcore band, but behind the scenes, he had developed a gruesome obsession with the dead. Between November 2025 and January 2026, Gerlach began a series of systematic raids on the historic Mount Moriah Cemetery and Arboretum in Yedden. Using a crowbar and other tools, he smashed open sealed vaults and mausoleums to access human remains dating as far back as 1869. His activities were finally halted on January 6, 2026, when detectives tracked his vehicle and his phone records to the cemetery. The investigators deepened when authorities executed search warrants of Gerlach's home on Washington Avenue in Ephrata, a nearby storage unit. They uncovered a massive, disturbing collection of human remains. So in other words, he couldn't fit all the remains in his house. He had to have a storage unit. He had to have a storage unit because he didn't have enough room for all the bodies. Over 100 human skulls were found, a full set of skeleton remains, mummified appendages including hands and feet, two decomposing torsos, macabre decor along with long bones and skulls arranged on shelves through his living space, stolen jewelry, even a pacemaker still attached to one of the bodies. Gerlach was not just a collector, he was a participant in an online oddities trade. Investigators linked him to social media groups dedicated to buying and selling human remains. His Instagram featured photos of him posing with skulls, and one caption even boasting about riding a Harley and slinging skulls. He eventually admitted to investigators while he kept many remains that he had sold others online. Johnathan Gerlach was charged with over 500 criminal accounts, including abuse of a corpse, burglary and criminal trespass, desecration of historical burial place, and venerated objects. As of January 2026, he's being held at George Hill Correctional Facility at a $1 million bond. Law enforcement continues to work with medical examiners to identify the remains and notify the hundreds of families whose loved ones' graves were disturbed. That is a deeply disturbing story. Johnathan Gerlach. Wow. What a sick. Wow, what a sick person. What a sick individual. So yeah, that was the Johnathan Gerlach story. Thank you so much for listening. If you listened all the way through, please drop a like and subscribe. If you like my channel, let me know. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this. Um, Let me know if you want me to add like music or pictures and stuff like that, because I can figure that out. All right. That was the Johnathan Gerlach story. Peace.